Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most dramatic and shocking events in modern warfare, the Crimean Bridge under siege, a strike by Ukraine that Russia never saw coming. This bridge, also known as the Kerch Strait Bridge, has always been more than just steel and concrete. It's a symbol of power, a political statement, and a logistical lifeline connecting Russia to the occupied Crimean Peninsula. When Ukraine targeted it, the world immediately realized this was not just about destroying infrastructure, it was about reshaping the war itself. In this review-style explanation, we'll break down the bridge's exterior, its interior elements, performance under stress, safety features, unique selling points, the cost and price of its creation, and finally, the long-term conclusion of what this strike means for the war and global politics. From the outside, the Crimean Bridge is a marvel of modern engineering. Stretching about 19 kilometers across the Kerch Strait, it holds the title of the longest bridge in Europe. Built by Russia after the annexation of Crimea in 2014, its purpose was clear: to cement Russia's hold over Crimea not just politically, but physically. The exterior design was intended to be both functional and symbolic. Towering arches allow ships to pass beneath, while twin road and rail lines run parallel across the structure. At first glance, it's a masterpiece of Russian engineering pride, glistening in the sun and projecting an image of permanence and dominance. Yet beneath that sleek exterior lay vulnerabilities that Ukrainian forces studied carefully until they finally found the perfect moment to strike. Moving inside, the interior of the bridge is much simpler. Unlike glamorous structures like tourist bridges in major cities, the Crimean Bridge wasn't built for beauty on the inside. Its interior elements are made up of reinforced concrete, steel beams, and standard support mechanisms designed to carry the massive weight of trains, trucks, and civilian vehicles. The rail line was particularly important, allowing Russia to transport military supplies, heavy equipment, and ammunition directly to its forces in southern Ukraine. On the inside, functionality took priority over aesthetics, and it became a lifeline disguised as a simple piece of transit infrastructure. This made it both ordinary in design and extraordinary in importance. When it comes to performance, the Crimean Bridge was initially celebrated as a triumph. Russia poured billions into ensuring that the bridge could withstand heavy loads, rough weather, and even seismic activity in the region. In performance tests, it held up under massive stress. Military trucks, fuel tankers, and trains packed with supplies rolled over it daily without incident. For years, Russia boasted about its strength and resilience. However, performance in wartime is a different measure altogether. No matter how strong the concrete or how thick the steel, the bridge was never truly designed to withstand precision strikes, sabotage, or drone attacks. Ukraine's strike revealed that while the bridge could perform perfectly under civilian and logistical demands, it was fatally flawed when subjected to the realities of modern conflict. Safety features were another area where the bridge drew attention. Engineers claimed that it was built with seismic reinforcements, advanced monitoring systems, and protective barriers designed to minimize the risk of accidents or collapses. On paper, this meant the bridge was secure against natural disasters or structural failure. But what the safety features couldn't protect against was targeted sabotage. When explosions ripped through sections of the bridge, flames consumed fuel tankers and left gaping holes in the roadway. Safety barriers crumbled, and monitoring systems that once promised early warning were useless against drones flying low or explosives planted in unsuspected places. In essence, the safety features were designed for peace, not war, leaving the bridge exposed when the battlefield came knocking. The unique selling points of the Crimean Bridge were never just about engineering. For Russia, its biggest selling point was symbolism. The bridge physically tied Crimea to the Russian mainland, presenting to the world and to Russian citizens that Crimea was now inseparable from Russia. It was a political trophy, a demonstration of strength, and a declaration that Russia's annexation was irreversible. From a practical standpoint, its unique selling point was logistics. No other route allowed Russia to move goods and military supplies into Crimea so efficiently. It shortened transport times, allowed direct access to critical bases, and cut off Ukraine's ability to isolate the peninsula by sea. In other words, it was both a political weapon and a logistical one. This combination of practicality and symbolism made it invaluable, which is exactly why Ukraine targeted it. Taking it out wasn't just about damaging infrastructure, it was about attacking the heart of Russia's narrative. The cost, or price, of the Crimean Bridge is another dimension worth understanding. Russia spent an estimated $3.7 billion building it, an astronomical sum that highlighted its importance. But beyond monetary price, there was a cost in terms of political capital, international criticism, and military vulnerability. When Ukraine struck the bridge, the damage was not only financial. The repair bill itself ran into hundreds of millions, but the real price was credibility. Russia's claim of invulnerability was shattered, and its logistical routes were severely disrupted. Supplies meant for troops on the southern front suddenly became harder to deliver, and public perception at home shifted. Citizens who once saw the bridge as untouchable now viewed it as a symbol of vulnerability. The price wasn't just in rubles, it was in morale, strategy, and international image. The conclusion to this story is complex but clear. Ukraine's strike on the Crimean Bridge was more than a tactical success, it was a strategic masterpiece. By targeting the structure, Ukraine didn't just damage concrete and steel. It hit Russia's pride, disrupted its supply lines, and sent a global message: no matter how strong or symbolic, no structure tied to an occupation is truly safe. From the outside, the bridge may still look imposing, with repairs restoring some of its functionality. On the inside, trains and trucks may still attempt to cross. But its performance has been compromised, its safety features exposed as insufficient, and its unique selling points turned against it. The high price paid to build and rebuild it only underlines how fragile Russia's grip on Crimea really is. When we review the bridge in the same way we'd review a vehicle, a piece of architecture, or even a product, the story becomes clearer. The exterior is bold but vulnerable. The interior is functional but uninspired. The performance is impressive in peacetime but falters in conflict. The safety features are designed for nature, not war. Its unique selling points are powerful in symbolism but costly in reality. And the price, both financial and political, may ultimately be more than Russia can afford. This is why the strike resonates so deeply. It wasn't just about stopping traffic. It was about showing the world that Ukraine can challenge Russia at its strongest points and reveal the weakness within. The longer-term implications stretch beyond the battlefield. Every time Ukraine strikes the bridge, it forces Russia to divert resources to protect, repair, and reinforce it. Every time it goes down, even temporarily, supply lines are delayed, and frontline soldiers feel the impact. Internationally, the strike also energizes Ukraine's allies, proving that Western-supplied weapons and strategies are making real differences. Meanwhile, it pressures Russia to admit that no fortress is unbreakable. This psychological warfare is as important as the physical damage itself. The bridge, once a proud achievement, now carries with it the constant reminder of vulnerability. In closing, when we step back and review the Crimean Bridge as if it were a product meant to showcase strength and utility, we see both its brilliance and its flaws. It stands tall as a feat of engineering, yet it crumbles under the pressures of war. It was designed to project permanence, but it has become a symbol of fragility. Ukraine's strike didn't just damage a structure, it damaged an illusion. And as long as the conflict continues, the Crimean Bridge will remain a contested icon, standing not just as a crossing of water but as a battleground of pride, strategy, and resilience.